First of all, it appears to go against the promises of White House border czar Tom Homan, who has been saying for weeks that ICE wouldn't be doing mass roundups, saying instead they'd be prioritizing undocumented immigrants with criminal records and gang members. But
wow, that's kind of crazy how this ugly gentleman right here, oh no, we're not gonna do that, we're only going for the criminals, blah blah blah. What has Trump been saying since day one? I don't know, kind of weird how people don't pay attention to people's words. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with some facts here, some data, some statistics, and then we can kind of get into the details of it, kind of the conversation, I guess they would say. So, ICE has arrested approximately 2,681 undocumented individuals in previous administrations, which were about 310 arrests a day. And Trump has only been in office a week, and that's including Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so just put that perspective or put that understanding in your mind. Okay, most of the raids happened throughout New York City, Chicago, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California. My thought, and it hasn't really been a lot of coverage, especially from left-leaning media, but my thoughts, and hey, I'm sorry if I lose a couple of subscribers by saying this. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. My wife, she tells me sometimes I could be heartless, I could be void of emotions, but it's just me being honest and trying to relay that, trying to deliver that in the best honest way as possible. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. And if you disagree and you want to talk about it, join the Discord. All right, I got an open door policy for a reason. All right. When it comes to people who voted for Trump and had this notion, had this idea, for whatever reason, I don't know where they got this from, but they had this idea of Trump is not going to treat me, Trump is not going to treat the ones I love like this because we're not criminals. I mean, we're hardworking. I mean, we're Republican. We contribute to our communities, into this economy that we all know and love. Like, he's not going to look down on us like he does them. Guess what? Told you so. I told you so. And part of me, a large part of me, I want whatever bad thing that Trump has placed and has in plan for everybody who doesn't fit into his category of Americans, whatever bad plan that he has in place, I hope it affects all those who voted for Trump to his fullest extent, 100%. I hope everything that he implements affects you guys' lives to the max degree. Everything that he has planned, I hope it ruins your life from here to eternity. Because I need people to understand that your vote has consequences. You having a lack of information has consequences. That's simple. You vote for the devil. What, you think he's going to be your friend? I'm just saying. And then point two. And then we'll get on to the details here. But I need to make this real clear. Those who didn't vote because of stupid XYZ reasons, what's happening today and here on out, I'm putting at the feet of you. Yes, I know we can talk about what Harris didn't do, what the Democratic Party did or didn't do in the blah, 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 whatever the case is not in any multiverse as worse as what we're dealing with and what we're going to deal with. You can say whatever you want about the Democratic Party. None of this on this magnitude would happen under Harris. So, once again, I put this at the feet of you guys. For those who didn't vote because Harris didn't seem relatable. Harris wasn't black. Like, man, I hope you can't sleep at night. I hope this affects you in some way, shape, or form, because once again, your vote or your non-vote has consequences, and I need people to understand that. But hey, let's go to Phil DeFranco. Phil DeFranco, so he can, so we can have this conversation of what these raids, what these ICE agents are doing, and what Trump wants them to do, and the problems that we're going to see in the future because of this.
Trump's only been in office for 1 week, and it already appears he's upset that there haven't been enough deportations. And so as a result, Trump officials have directed immigration and customs enforcement to aggressively increase the number of people they arrest each day, according to 4 sources who spoke to the Washington Post. And specifically, the Post reported that ICE is now being asked to increase the number of arrests they make each day from a couple of hundred to at least 1,200 to 50.
So Trump, and like I told you, during the Biden administration, on an average, about 300 arrests were made per day. You know what I'm saying? Some are going to be high, some are going to be lower. On an average, 310. Trump wants this. Trump wants at least 1,200 to 1,500 a day. Now, once again, I don't know what kind of jobs that you guys have had in right now or in the past, but there's an issue when you have to meet a quota. When you're told, for example, police officers, if they're told they have to pull over an X amount of people and give X amount of tickets within a month or a week, there's problems that can easily be exploited with quotas. I mean, once again, like if you have a high school intellectual capacity, then this conversation is not for you. If you don't understand how that works, okay, read some books first, educate yourself, and then we can have this conversation. But this right here, as we're going to venture on down, is going to be problematic because once again, they're not only going after the criminals, you know, those who are convicted felons or committed some horrendous crime. This means everybody's going. I don't care if you've been working, if you're Republican, if you are undocumented, they are going for you. And once again, I done seen countless of interviews of people like, no, he's not going to go after me and this, or whatever the case is. Now he's trying to go after birthright citizens. Like, the scale just grows and grows. Like, holy shit, who's next? But no, once again, people don't understand their vote has consequences. You know, it's not gonna be a big deal. Like what's the worst that can happen? And if this was like a thriller movie, a scary movie, those are the exact people who would die first in the movie. Oh, I mean, this guy chasing us with a big butcher knife, he's not a big deal. I'm just gonna do a few no, and then you're dead. Those are those kind of people right there. But let's continue.
1,500. With the sources saying that managers will be held accountable for missing those quotas and that officers should cancel personal leave because Trump expects arrest operations to take place around the clock. You know, this is absolutely massive for a few different reasons. First of all, it appears to go against the promises of White House border czar Tom Homan, who has been saying for weeks that ICE wouldn't be doing mass roundups, saying instead they'd be prioritizing undocumented immigrants with criminal records and gang members. But
wow, that's kind of crazy how this ugly gentleman right here, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're only going for the criminals, blah, blah, blah. What has Trump been saying since day one? I don't know, kind of weird how people don't pay attention to people's words. Pay attention when people show themselves to you. Believe it. Like, I don't know, man. People are just stupid, like literally stuck on stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's continue. Let's continue.
roundups, saying instead they'd be prioritizing undocumented immigrants with criminal records and gang members. But as the Post here explained, the quotas issued this weekend would place ICE officers under more pressure to seize a wider range of potential deportees to avoid reprimand, including immigrants who have not committed crimes. Now with this, on the other side, you had an ICE official who wasn't authorized to discuss the matter, saying that the list of criminal suspects was long enough that ICE officials could meet quotas. But there's also, as Paul Hunker, for example, a former ICE chief counsel in Dallas, argued that arresting serious offenders takes a lot of planning time and staff resources to track them down. And notably, more time and resources than quotas might allow, with him explaining. Quotas will incentivize ICE officers to arrest the easiest people to arrest rather than the people that are dangerous non-citizens. And this also is we're seeing experts warning that broad roundups are unsafe and counterproductive because they create panic in immigrant communities and draw public backlash. And this is another concern with these sweeping raids, or that the wrong people are going to be detained or arrested. And in fact, we've already been seeing reports of that in the first week of Trump's immigration enforcement efforts, even before these quotas. With, for example, numerous reports circulating about members of the Navajo Nation being wrongfully detained in immigration sweeps. And this also as the mayor of Newark, New Jersey has accused ICE of detaining multiple U.S. citizens, including a military veteran, during raids on the city, which very notably...
Hey, once again, I done had this conversation with my wife. My wife is Hispanic, so this is really close to home. You know what I'm saying? These individuals, okay, you can't tell who's undocumented or not. That's problem number one. Unless you're within the ICE organization, I'm assuming they might have some sort of, hopefully, I don't know. I'm just really giving them the benefit of the doubt. Some sort of information, database. Yeah, it's something. But once again, like, how can you just tell by looking? Like, what does an undocumented person look like? Two, if they don't speak English, so if you hear them speak Spanish or some other language, that's immediate understanding that what, they're undocumented. So once again, people's rights are going to be trampled over. Oh, you were speaking Spanish. Oh, you look like you don't belong here. So we just slap the cuffs on you. Or people calling ICE, or people calling the police. Oh, I think there's an illegal immigrant over here. And then police roll up. You don't have to give them identification, or at least in my area. So what's going to happen? They're going to harass you. They're going to arrest. And you did nothing wrong except for be who you are. Speak the language that you speak. Oh, it's just so many problems that I know for a fact either they're not taking account for or they just don't care. The Republican Party is supposed to be the party of, rights, American rights. You think? Do you really think? Do you really think he cares? If you think so, I got a bridge to sell you.
This is coming as ICE raids have already been scaled up significantly during Trump's first week in office, even before the quotas. Raids have been reported in numerous cities and states across the country, with one of the most high-profile efforts taking place in Chicago. And in Chicago, ICE explicitly released a statement announcing it had begun conducting enhanced targeted operations in the city on Sunday at the objections of top Democratic leaders. So again, not just one place. Nationwide, ICE reported high numbers of detentions and arrests, with this reportedly including more than 500 arrests and around 400 detentions on both Thursday and Friday. But then also yesterday, those numbers jumped dramatically, with ICE reporting that it had arrested 956 people and detained another 554. And so a big jump not only from Thursday and Friday, but a big increase from the Biden administration, which saw about 300 average daily arrests last year. And with all this, we've seen the kind of general range of responses you'd expect. Many on the left condemning the raids and people on the right applauding them. And among the notable reactions here, you had Selena Gomez going viral for posting an Instagram story of herself crying about the general situation in regards to immigrants.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
And so that got a ton of attention in a number of places.
So once again, this might be the heartless part of me. I showed this to my wife. I said some things. She got mad at me. Like, I understand you can be sad, you can be frustrated, you can be angry, but especially when you're a celebrity, okay? Like, I know it's a thin line. I know people can do what they want. I get it. Trust me, I know. But when you're a celebrity and you're just crying in front of the camera, people will accuse you of just performance. You know, just acting like you're in an outrage. You know, because you got all this money. You're out of touch. Like, whatever the case is, to me, if you are that upset, which once again, I don't know her background, I don't know if she has organizations or given to charities or whatever the case is, but put some action behind those tears. Okay, like, once again, I'm not trying to tell people how they need to do when it comes to showing their frustrations, like what I'm doing now, but put some action behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm doing. I'm trying my best to educate these dummies so the next time we vote, we're kind of voting with some information here. But once again, like the whole crying thing, man, like we're beyond that. We're already in the trenches. Like, we need to do something about this. That's what I'm saying.
Places, but especially on X. It was trending super high this morning and getting a lot of mixed reactions. Right, on one side, you had a lot of people condemning Selena and the video, accusing her of trying to get attention, saying that celebrities shouldn't weigh in on these matters. Others also taking aim at her views about immigrants or calling for her to be deported, though she was born in Texas. And in fact, it appears that that video got so much backlash and attention that Selena ended up deleting it and posted another story with the text, apparently it's not okay to show empathy for people. Though there, it appears that she's now deleted that as well. But then also, on the other side, there were plenty of people defending her, arguing among other things that it is important for celebrities to speak out and that we encourage them to do that, so we shouldn't tear them down when they do. People also pointing out that she's been vocal about immigration for years, even producing a Netflix documentary back in 2019 about undocumented families in the States. But then also beyond that, right, expanding it a bit, we saw a number of people slamming the Trump administration's decision to allow ICE raids in so-called sensitive locations like churches, hospitals, and schools. With very notably there, that including top clergy leaders like the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, USCCB, which issued a statement saying, turning places of care, healing, and solace into places of fear and uncertainty for those in need while endangering the trust between pastors, providers, educators, and the people they serve will not make our communities safer. But that statement also attracted its own.
And once again, I understand. I get because it's not in law that ICE or government officials shouldn't or can't enter schools, hospitals, churches. That's just like a norm. You know, like something that people just agree on, like, hey, that's crossing the line. And that's something that's, at least to a large extent, each administration has been following, even with Obama. You know what I'm saying? But once again, hey, guys, guess what? Once again, why do we expect Trump to follow any sort of norms to anything when he hasn't demonstrated in any capacity of following norms of governments or the presidential powers? He doesn't care. And his job is not to make friends or make people like him. His job is to prove a point. So however he needs to do that, if he needs to run up in every single church to prove a point, that's what he's going to do. So once again, I understand these organizations, these institutions, these churches putting out statements like what we seen here. I get that. But if any of those people in that organization voted for Trump thinking that maybe, just maybe, he's not going to, you're an idiot. You get what you pay for. And you voted for an idiot, a racist, bigoted, white supremacist, fascist idiot. So you're going to get what you vote for. Hey, guys, I mean, do you see a consistent theme?
Providers, educators, and the people they serve will not make our communities safer. But that statement also attracted its own backlash from Vice President J.D. Vance, who slammed the remark.
As a practicing Catholic, I was actually heartbroken by that statement. And I think that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops needs to actually look in the mirror a little bit and recognize that when they receive over $100 million to help resettle illegal immigrants, are they worried about humanitarian concerns, or are they actually worried about their bottom line? I think the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops has frankly not been a good partner in common sense immigration enforcement that the American people voted for. And I hope, again, as a devout Catholic, that they'll do better.
Now, very notably with that, you also had a lot of experts pointing out that Vance seems to be referring to the fact that the USCCB has a massive refugee resettlement agency. And they're pointing out that refugees are not illegal immigrants. And in fact, we saw the organization itself echoing that point in a statement responding to Vance's comments, with him noting that the funding that they receive from the US federal government goes towards refugees, all of whom are, quote, vetted and approved for the program.
Now, once again, I'm not trying to predict the future, but if it's any beef that continues with this organization, with this Catholic organization that Vance is trying to hint to, like, hey, if you are not in agreement or in alignment, in one accord with what we're doing, hey, it seems like just maybe it's going to be some funds being withheld. Hey, Trump and his administration is already doing that to California in regards to people who were affected by the fires. You see him do that to Ukraine. I'm just saying, hey, it's weird how this administration is forcing people to follow suit, and if they don't, they're going after them in one way, shape, or another. But that's what you guys voted for.
By the federal government while outside of the United States. They then also hit back at Vance by emphasizing that their efforts are in line with Catholic religious values, saying, faithful to the teaching of Jesus Christ, the Catholic Church has a long history of serving refugees. But for now, that is where we are with this specific aspect, and I gotta ask.
Oh, man. But hey, thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. Once again, guys, many people in this country, we do believe and we understand that immigration as a whole, the whole asylum seeking process needs to be reformed. It's so many issues, and I cover this plenty of times, okay? It's so many common sense solutions that I've heard people articulate, and it can happen if people kind of get their fingers out of their ears, the people in power, and actually do something. Because I believe immigrants who come to this country who just wants to work and provide for their family, it shouldn't be a 10-year process. It shouldn't be a 5-year. Hey, we got the technology to speed this up. You know what I'm saying? Get these people confirmed through the asylum seeking process and make them citizens. Or you're going to have people continuously sneak into here. And if you see the conditions of a lot of these countries that, hint, the U.S. probably 9 times out of 10 has a hand in doing that, okay? Hey, go ahead and read that yourself, okay? But if you look at the conditions of some of these countries, I don't blame them. Hell, I would be the first one to sneak right on in here. So I get it. But as Americans, there's nothing but space and opportunity here in America. Trust me, no one's replacing nobody. No one's kicking people out of their schools or taking over their house for illegal immigrants. In America, there's nothing but space and opportunity. So make the process more simple and in place it with common sense policies and legislation, and treat people like humans. And of course, even American criminals, lock them up. Hell, send them to whatever country. Hey, you do something crazy, you need to face the consequences, of course. But Republicans don't want to do that. They're just trying to put on a spectacle, a show, and round up 1,500, documented individuals every single day until they reach a crazy number just to show. but don't never fix the problem with grace and understanding and treating people with dignity. They're not going to do that. That's simple. But once again, guys, thank you for watching. If you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.